Hello class, this would be my lecture on chapter 3 of our accounting workbook entitled The Journalizing Process. So our learning outcomes at the end of this chapter, you students are expected to articulate orally. You recite what are the parts of the general journal and the steps of the journalizing process. And at the same time, you must be able to exhibit mastery. I say mastery in the preparation of general journal for various business transactions in accordance with GAAP. So this is the second step of the accounting cycle, the journalizing process. Chapter 2 na lecture ko before is the first step of the accounting cycle, the analysis of business transactions. So after the analysis of the effects of business transactions on the accounting elements, they are now ready to be recorded in the accounting books. So it is in this step of the correcting of the accounting cycle that events and transactions are firstly recorded. So kung tama ang analysis mo, tama din ang iyong ire-record. So to review, kung expert ka na sa debit credit natin sa analysis of business transactions, let us review. So I have here a board, sana nakikita nyo. So we have a big letter T, and again this is called what? This is called the T account. So this is used as our guide in memorizing or in analyzing business transactions. So on the left side of the T account is what we call as what? The left side of the T account is called the debit. So debit. On the right side of the T account is what we call as the credit. So that's the T account. And the basic accounting equation, if you remember the basic accounting equation, sabi niya, assets of the business is equal to what? The assets of the business is equal to its liabilities plus capital. So A is equal to L plus C. And assets dito po sa board natin is on the left side, on the debit side. Liabilities and capital are on the credit side. So this would facilitate us in determining kung ide-debit ba natin yung asset, or credit ba natin yung utang. So paano mo malalaman yan? So again, sa analysis of business transactions, assets, nasa left side siya. So, ang normal balance of assets is debit. So kung nadagdagan ang asset ng business, it is debit. What if ang nadagdagan is the liability or the capital of the business? Kung nadagdagan ang liability niya or the capital account, then where do we record them? It is on the credit side. Kasi the L plus C is on the right sides. Therefore, kung nadagdagan din sila, they are credited. Credit po natin sila. So, to summarize it all, assets increase in assets. Pag tumaas ang assets, edi debit. Pag bumaba or arrow down, bumaba ang assets, it is recorded on the credit side. So again, kapag tumaas ang asset, debit. Pag bumaba, arrow down yung asset, credit. What if nadagdagan ang utang? So, arrow up. Liabilities. So, the normal balance of liabilities is on the credit side. So, kung madadagdagan, arrow up, madadagdagan ang liabilities, then it is credited. Credit po natin. At the same time, capital, kapag nadagdagan ang capital of the business, it is also on the credit. Kasi C andito sa credit. So, kapag nagdagdagan ang capital ng business, credit. So, ang opposite ng dalawang tong liabilities plus capital, what if bumaba yung liabilities? Dito sa other side, debit. So, kapag bumaba ang liabilities, it is recorded on the debit side. Bumaba. Arrow down ang liabilities, debit. Kung bumaba rin ang capital, bumaba ang capital, it is also recorded on the debit. Credit. Debit. Pag bumaba ang capital. So, i-master nyo kasi ang normal balances, kapag master mo na siya, madali na lang ang journalizing, ang debit credit na yan. So, kapag tumaas ang asset dahil on the left side siya, o di debit. Pag bumaba ang asset, di doon sa other side niya. Liabilities, kapag tumaas ang liabilities, credit. Kung bumaba, o di doon sa other side, the debit. So, nakukuha niyo yung debit credit niya. Kung ano ang normal balance, it is the increase side. Kung babawasan mo siya, edi doon sa other side. How about expenses and income? Ang income kasi, dinadagdagan niya ang capital. So, ang income, it is on the credit side. So, income, kapag tumaas ang income, credit po siya. Credit. Kasi ang effect ng income sa capital ay dinadagdagan niya. So, kung nadagdagan ang capital, credit. Again, kapag nadagdagan ang income, kumita tayo, it is credit. What if nagkaroon tayo ng expenses? Gumasto tayo. Ang expenses kasi, ang effect ng expenses sa capital, binabawasan niya. So, kung binabawasan niya ang capital, the normal balance of expense is debit. So, expenses, debit. Expenses, debit. Kasi ang ginagawa ng expenses nga sa capital, binabawasan niya. So, binabawasan ng expense ang capital. So, kung mababawasan ang capital, edi dito sa debit side. So, sana naging clear na ito. And in every transaction, you must understand anong nangyari. Anong naapektuhan sa transaction na yan. So, na-summarize na po sa chapter 2. Sana masundan nyo itong journalizing natin. Again, kung tama ang analysis mo ng debit and credit, tatama din ang iyong journalizing. Gets? Sana ma-master nyo to. Now, let's go back to our workbook, the general journal. What is that general journal? So first, we define journalizing. Journalizing is the process of recording business transactions in what we call as the journal, the book of original entry. So, kapag nagre-record tayo in the journal, that is called journalizing. Kaya, journalizing is a process. At saan nire-record? Sa tinatawag natin na journal. And it's called the book of original entry. According to Luca Pacioli, di ba? Kilala mo si Luca Pacioli? Luca Pacioli is a monk or monghe po siya. He's not a priest. He's a monghe and he is also a mathematician. He is not an accountant. So, si Luca Pacioli, in his book, he described journal as the book of original entry because doon natin unang nire-record ang business transaction. And the journal contains a chronological order. Maayos po yung journal kasi sa bawat record niya, sinusunod niya ang date. So the date of the event of the transaction, yun ang nag-aayos sa journal. So andun yung mga journal entries natin. How are they arranged? They are arranged by dates. Dates po sila. And ano yung mga record natin? They are called journal entries. The records in the journal, they are called journal entries. If the journal entry contains one debit and one credit, it is called a simple journal entry. But if it contains more than one or two credit, that is called a compound journal entry. So, ulit, journalizing is the process. Journal is the book of original entry. The records that we are recording in the journal are called journal entries. If the journal entry has one debit or one credit, one debit and one credit, then that is called a simple journal entry. If it contains more than one debit or credit, that is already called a compound journal entry. And the parts of the journal, nakita mo siya ngayon. So that is a general journal. So andun pa sa title niya, general journal. So in this case, we have first the date of the transaction, the date. Date po. So sa date niya, we have the year, you must specify the year, the month, and the day of the transaction. So dito yung chronological, pagkakasunod-sunod niya, maayos ng pagkakasunod by date. And we have the debited account name or the account title, let's say cash. Credited account name. So makita mo indented ito, may space dyan. Hindi magka-diretso because you have to indent something before you record the credit account name. So for example, accounts receivable. We collected an accounts receivable. Therefore, credit accounts receivable. Ang lalagay mo lang, accounts receivable, ang lalagay mo lang dito, cash. Then, another row would serve as the explanation. The explanation. So, the date of the transaction, the name of the debited account, the name of the account credited, the explanation. Ano yung explanation na yan? The source document reference or an explanation. Ilalagay mo doon based on OR 100. So, yun, source document yun. Anong nangyari doon sa OR na yun 100? So, receive cash as collection of account. Yun, explanation yun. Receive cash as collection of account evidenced by official receipt number 100. So, explanation that would describe kung ano yung nangyaring transaction, kung ano yung nire-record mo. Then you would have the amount of the debit, 1,000. 0 doon sa dulo niya, walang sentavo. Then, on the credit, that is, wala ring butal, so 1,000 peso. So, sa T account, di ba, on the left side is the debit, on the right side is the credit. O, diyan mo makita debit, credit. Then you would have the F or the folio. The folio is the account number of this debited and credited account title. So basically, ganito ang gagawin natin. We record the business transaction in the general journal. Next, the folio or posting reference or tinatawag nilang PR. So, PR or F, folio. It pertains to the account number of the debited and credited account. So, let's say ang cash, ang account number niya 100. Ang lalagay mo doon sa folio niya, 100. And this is used for cross-referencing in the classifying phase of accounting in the general ledger. So, makita mo kasi sa general ledger, yung bawat account, account number of each account title. So, you could cross-reference doon sa general journal natin. And the account numbers is found in the company's chart of accounts. What is the chart of account? It is the list of all accounts na ginagamit ng business. So, chart of accounts. And the main heading of the general journal contains the name of the business and the period covered by the journal entries. If the name of the business is not given, use the name of the owner. Examples of it are as follows. So, Jollibee Corporation, that is the name of the company. And what is that na ginagawa natin? That's the general journal. The period covered, January 1 to 31, 2020. What if walang pangalan yung hindi pala. Ito, Root Repair Shop. So this is a servicing business. General Journal, April 1 to 30, 2019. What if walang pangalan yung business? So in this case, si Jed Esther, yung pangalan of the owner, then the General Journal, then it covers the period January 1 until December 31, 2018. So, kapag ganyan yung period covered. So, magkakaiba yung period covered na yan. Depending on the given business transactions. Now, the chart of accounts, what is that? Again, this is the listing of all account titles. A company used to describe its assets, liabilities, capital, and accounts. Service companies contains the same account titles. Magkakapareho po kasi sana sila. Except for some titles. Kasi a company may use light, water, and heat expense. But other companies may use utilities expense. O, lahat yan, pareho lang. Magkaiba lang yung account title. Pero the same ang ibig sabihin yan. The same ang kinekwenta ng account na yan. More so, service companies differ greatly with the account titles used by the merchandising or manufacturing company because of the operation of the business. Kapag merchandising, manufacturing, meron kang purchases, meron kang sales. But for servicing business, wala kasi tayong binibenta na goods. What we are selling is our service. So you would have service income. Now, despite the differences, we will use the usual account titles used by the servicing company. These are arranged in the ALORE. Again, ano ang ALORE na yan? Assets, liabilities, owner's equity, revenue, and then expenses. Isa-isahin natin yung mga account titles na yan. So, assuming na ganyan po ang given na ating chart of accounts. This is called the chart of accounts ito. So, meron tayong account number na unang present assets, current assets. Account names, description. So, you would have account number 100, 110, 120. Depende po yan sa company kung anong gagawin nilang number. Let's say 1 or 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, basta merong number. Ito po yung folio. Ito yung folio na tinutukoy or the posting reference in the general journal format. So, cash in bank. Pera natin na meron sa bangko. So, coins and currencies deposited in banks. Next would be cash on hand. So, pera na hawak natin, held by the company. Accounts receivable. These are open accounts. So, utang ito ng mga customers. Wala silang written promise. Ang meron lang sa kanila, oral promise to pay their debt sa atin. That is accounts receivable. Now, we have allowance for bad debts. Sadya kasi na may mga nag-promise na magbayad pero marami ang hindi nagbabayad. Therefore, nag-allow tayo ng allowance for bad debts. These are estimated receivables doubtful of collection. Tinatansya natin or ine-estimate natin we are having doubts as to its collection. So, nagbigay tayo ng allowance for bad debts. And allowance for bad debts, binabawas po ito sa accounts receivable. So, may umutang. Pero, about 10% at the end of the year, baka hindi na mabayaran. Pwedeng na bankrupt yung customer natin or lumayas, tumakbo. Magbibigay tayo ng allowance for bad debts. Babawas natin yung allowance for bad debts sa ating accounts receivable. Next, notes receivable, short term. So, may mga receivable notes na short term. Dahil note siya, merong written or closed accounts from customers on credit. The collection is within 1 year. So, kasi kapag more than 1 year, hindi na siya short term. It would become long term. So, kung short term siya, edi current siya. Pero kung long term siya, non-current siya. Next, interest receivable. These are uncollected interest from notes receivable. So, yung note natin kumita na, pero hindi pa natin natatanggap yung interest, yung bayad, therefore, interest receivable. Supplies. Unused various materials used in business, such as paper, ballpen, cleaning supplies, kitchen supplies, janitorial supplies. Lahat yan, supplies. Those are assets. Then you would have prepaid rent. Nagbayad ka ng renta in advance. Asset ba yun? Yes, kasi hindi pa tayo tumitira. Let's say, nag-uupa ka, nagbayad ka na for April. Wala pa namang April. So, yung binayaran mo, that is considered a prepaid rent. It is an asset na pwede mong balikan or pwede mong singilin yung binayad mo. It is an asset. So, prepaid insurance, these are unexpired insurance payments. So, yung mga companies kasi, nag-i-insure sila ng properties nila or ng mga employee. So, nagbabayad sila, let's say, 10,000 for the whole year. Hindi pa naman nag-expire yung other months. Hindi pa natapos yung other months. Di meron tayong asset na tinatawag na prepaid insurance. You could have also trading securities, investments in companies such as stocks and bonds. Bumibili tayo sa ownership ng isang corporation. So stocks, these are evidences of shareholdings from corporations. What if we have trading securities that are short-term in nature, usually 3 months, therefore they are also current, kung meron mang ganun. Next, we have non-current assets. So, meron tayong notes receivable na long-term. They are collectible within more than 1 year. Sorry. Now, land, lupa. That is the site owned by the business. The location or kung saan nakatayo yung business natin. Then we have building, o yung structure, yung mga ito, owned by the business for operation. Remember, dapat pagmamay-ari po natin. Kasi what if pagmamay-ari lang natin yung building, pero yung lupa na nakatayuan ng building natin, hindi natin pagmamay-ari. Siyempre, ang report lang natin, building. Wala tayong land eh. Now, we have also accumulated depreciation building. What is accumulated depreciation? These are aggregated periodic costs of using the business building. Reduction in the value of building. Why? Because of its continuous use or its wear and tear. O let's say naglalagas na or nasisira na because of nature, natural causes, or medyo nasisira. In this case, those are accumulated depreciation. Nag-e-expense yung other parts of the building. So, that pag pinagsama mo yan, aggregated kasi, that is called the accumulated depreciation. Nagtataka ka ba? Bakit walang accumulated depreciation ang land? Sabi ng ibang authors, accounting authors, land is the only asset not subject to depreciation. Because land values usually or normally tumataas po ang halaga nila as time goes by. Hindi po bumababa. Pero meron bang exception na bumababa ang halaga ng land? In that case, for example, ang Mount Mayon, pumutok, andun yung lupain mo, na nakatayo yung building mo, tawag dun, na cover ng lahar or na cover ng whatever man na binuga ng vulkan, di ba baba ang halaga ng lupain mo? Or may lupain kayo na dati hindi na flood, pero ngayon na flood, di ba baba ang halaga ng land? So, pwede rin mag-depreciate ng land, but usually, hindi po siya dine-depreciate kasi generally, nag-a-appreciate, tumataas ang halaga ng land. Unlike building, furnitures, equipment, lahat yan meron silang accumulated depreciation. What are furnitures? These are movable articles used in business such as tables, chairs, counters, light, sink, toilet, and others. Bulbs or electric fans, furniture and fixtures yan. Then we could have equipment. These are machineries used in business like computers and delivery trucks. Pag 15,000 ang mostly halaga niya, they could be considered an equipment. So ang laptop, ang printer, electric fan, hindi naman naabot ng 15,000 yan. Aircon, those could be considered equipment. Xerox machine, may delivery truck tayo, may airplane tayo, or chopper, or tricycle, motor, lahat yan, equipment, machineries used in business. Meron tayong mixer, or anong ginagawa sa food. Now, yun, lahat yan, meron silang accumulated depreciation dahil habang tumatagal, bumababa ang halaga nila because of the continuous use of the asset. So, ang accumulated depreciation, binabawas po siya sa halaga ng certain asset. So, ito ang accumulated depreciation ng building. Babawas mo po yan sa building mismo. Yung accumulated depreciation ng furniture and fixture, ibabawas mo po yan sa furniture and fixture. Same with equipment. So, sana nakukuha? These are account titles na inaaral natin. So, you familiarize yourself with this. Kasi tapos ng assets. So, next would be liabilities. So, accounts payable. O, umutang tayo, punta tayo sa store. Pwede bang umutang ng 50 pesos or umutang ng binebenta nyo? Or punta nga ako sa barbershop pero utangin ko. Bukas ko bayaran. O, oral accounts, open accounts, accounts payable. Pero kapag nagkasulatan kayo, that is notes payable. Na kapag short term, edi current siya. Kung mababayaran mo siya or babayaran mo siya dapat within 1 year. Interest payable, edi kabaliktaran ng interest receivable, di ba? Kung sino yung magbabayad ng interest, di siya ang may utang. Cost of using creditors' money on notes payable. Ano ang creditor? Meron kasi tayong term na debtor, creditor. Creditor is the one who will receive the money, yung nagpautang. Kung sino naman ang may utang, that is called the debtor. D-E-B-T-O-R. Debtor. D-E-B-T-O-R. Debtor. So, kung sino ang may debt or may utang, that is called the debtor. So, kapag may mga payables tayo, we are a debtor. Ginamit natin pera ng creditor, humiram tayo. The cost of that is interest. What if umutang tayo sa bangko? Di bank loans. Kapag mababayaran mo siya within 1 year, di short term or current. Income tax payable, taxes na babayaran natin sa gobyerno dahil kumikita ang business natin. Di income tax payable. Meron din kasi tayong VAT and percentage tax payable. So, tawag dun, ang dito, yung malalaking companies dito, yung Lagawi Trading, they are VAT taxpayer sila. So, at the end of the year or at the end of the month, magre-remit sila ng value-added tax kasi yung value-added tax, kinokollect nila yun sa atin na consumer. Babayaran nila yan sa gobyerno. These are called, kung hindi ka man VAT taxpayer, percentage taxpayer ka, lahat yan business taxes na binabayaran po sa gobyerno. Withholding tax naman, ito sa mga empleyado natin na nagwi-withheld tayo ng taxes. Taxes of employees withheld na ireremit natin sa gobyerno. Kung alam natin that that employee would have taxes na babayaran at the end of the year, magwi-withhold tayo doon sa sahod niya. Mga kaltas ito sa sahod ng empleyado. Kasi meron ka ding SSS contributions payable. Ito, kung meron kang binabayaran sa SSS, PhilHealth, babayaran sa PhilHealth, or HMDF, mali yan. HDMF dapat yan. Na hindi pa natin rineremit. Kasi kapag naibigyan na natin, edi hindi na payable. Ang payable, hindi pa kasi natin binabayaran. Pag-ibig, so may pondo ka pa sa pag-ibig mo. Pabahay po ito. Unearned service income. Ano to? Pumunta ako sa parlor mo, magbayad nga ako ng 1,000. Pero bukas ako magpapa-parlor. On that day, magre-record sila ng unearned service income. Kita pero hindi pa kasi kinita. Unearned, hindi pa kinita. Therefore, liability siya, utang. So, advance payment of customers for services na hindi pa natin rinerender, hindi pa natin na-service sa kanila. Ano naman ang mga revenues na meron pa pala? Non-current liabilities. So, meron tayong notes payable long term kapag binabayaran mo siya within more than 1 year. Kung sa bangko, pero more than 1 year na babayaran, di bank loans payable. Mortgage payable, obligation secured by real properties. So, sa lupa or land, naka-mortgage siya, mortgage payable, na naka-secure. Kung hindi mo mababayaran yung mortgage, ang pambayad mo yung lupa mo or yung building nyo, naka-mortgage kasi yung mga yon. So, dapat mabayaran yung utang. Now, we have owner's capital. So, the owner's last name, capital. So, for me, uyammi, capital. O, ikaw, nabehet, capital. Alaga, capital. These are used to record initial or additional investment of the owner. What if nag-withdraw ka? O di uyami, drawing. Alaga, drawing. Ano pa ba? Talango, drawing. Balakawi, drawing. Lahat yan. Nagamit natin to record the owner's capital. So, tapos na ang assets, liabilities, owner's capital. We have two left, revenues and expenses. So, revenues natin, dahil ang focus lang natin for fundamentals of accounting is the servicing business. Ito ang ginagamit nila, service income. Generally, pag nag-render tayo ng service, o di service income. Whatever man na service yan, kung pagpapagupit, kung pagpaparlor, or food, or consultation, o pwede nating lagay service income. So, tayo gagamitin natin ito, service income. What if nagpautang tayo at kumita tayo ng interest o the interest income, kinita natin from notes receivable. Rent income, nagpapaupa tayo. Kung nagpapaupa tayo o di may rent income tayo. Gain on the sale of assets. So for example, meron tayong lumang equipment. Ibenta na natin. O, kumita kayo. O the gain on the sale of asset or sale of equipment or furniture and fixture. Miscellaneous income, kung meron man tayong income na hindi natin pwedeng i-classify. For example, sale of scrap materials and others. What if meron tayong mga bote-bote dyan or mga papers, benta natin. Oh, miscellaneous income or other income. Those lahat yan income. Then we have expenses. Maraming expense tayo. So, taxes, pagbabayad ng business permit, ng registration, ng percentage tax, ng local tax dito sa munisipyo or probinsya, lahat yan papasok as part of taxes and licenses expense. Pero meron kasi tayong separate na income tax expense. This is for national income tax. National, the income tax. Kasi kung local tax siya, ito sabi niya, 'di ba? Local tax. That would be classified as taxes and licenses expense. Advertising, nagpapa-air tayo ng advertisement natin sa radio or sa TV, advertising expense. Umuupa tayo, rent expense. Nagbayad tayo sahod ng employees, salaries expense. Bad debts expense, So, ito, katapat niya yung allowance for bad debts. So, kung meron tayong ine-estimate na lugi from customers kasi hindi sila magbabayad, we recognize an expense. So, part of the receivable would be recognized as expense. Kasi meron tayong hindi makokolekta. So, ito, katapat nyo yung allowance for bad debts kasi. So, yung allowance for bad debts, ibabawas siya sa asset. Yung binawas na yon, that is also called the bad debts expense. Utilities, pambayad ng ilaw, kuryente, water, communication tools. So, insurance expense, pag safety net of business assets in case of unexpected losses. O nasira ang equipment natin, nasira ang building, nasunog. Meron ba tayong makukuha sa mga insurance company? Or nagbabayad ba tayo ng insurance sa kanila? Insurance expense. Supplies expense. Yung mga nagamit natin na supplies used or consumed. Interest expense. Umutang tayo, di magbayad tayo ng interest. Employee benefit expense. These are payment for other benefits of employees aside from their regular pay. So, kung meron silang overtime pay, kung meron silang retirement pay o the employee benefits expense. Miscellaneous expense, expenses unclassifiable or with small amounts. O dilagay natin other expense or miscellaneous expense. Then you would have depreciation expense, periodic allocation. Sabi niya periodic. Kasi for example, this year, 10,000 yung bumaba na halaga sa building natin. Next year, another 10,000. Next year, another 10,000. Yung per year natin, that is recognized as expense. Kaya periodic. per period, per accounting period. Pero kapag pinagsama mo lahat yon, that is called the accumulated depreciation expense. So, depreciation expense for furniture, for equipment. Meron din tayong loss on sale of asset. Nagbenta nga tayo ng old table or old equipment pero nalugi tayo. O the loss. It is an expense, loss on the sale of asset. Nakukuha ba? Nakakasunod pa din? So, madami yung mga account titles. So, you need to familiarize yourself with those account titles. So, given po ang chart of accounts, mamimili ka doon, anong account title ang gagamitin mo sa bawat business transaction. Now, we move to the journalizing process. So, sa journalizing, first, you must ilagay mo yung heading. So, let's say, manual uh, repair shop. Tapos, general journal. Tapos, uh, February 1 to 28, 2021. Ano yung sa beddings niya? Yun yung date, yun yung explanation, folio, debit, credit. Then you indicate the date of the transaction. Anong date? Let's say, February 1, the Feb 1, 2021. Write the date, debit account, its folio and its amount. Let's say debit to cash. Ano ang folio niya? Let's say 100. Let's say ang amount niya, 100,000. After that, you write the credit. Let's say credit ko, Uyami Kama Capital. Then, its folio is 500. Amount niya, 100,000 din. Then afterwards, you provide a simple explanation to describe the transaction. So we have an example here for Aginaya Company. So on January 1, 2019, Aginaya Company borrowed 120,000 from the bank upon signing a note. Prepare the appropriate general journal entry for the above transaction. So ito, that is called the heading. Itong mga to, page 1, lahat yan, that is called the subheadings. Subheadings, lahat yan. So since this transaction happened on January or the January 1, ano ang natanggap ng business? Cash. Kasi increase in asset, debit siya. So this is the debit account name. Ano ang inutang niya? 120,000 daw sa bangko. Kapag tumaas ang utang, debit or credit? Credit. So, notes payable. So, yun. Debit, may debit tayo na cash, credit, notes payable. Kopyahin mo yung reference o REF or folio or PR. Lahat yan parehas. Kukunin mo yung account number sa chart of accounts ni Aginaya Company. Then you write the amounts, 120,000. 120,000. Ano bang nangyari? To record loan from bank. So yun, re-record mo. So again, indented ito. Yung debit credit, indented. Yung explanation, indented. Kung magsa-second page yung explanation, yung bank, for example, itong bank, dapat naka-align siya. Naka-align siya sa credit. Ito, ganyan. Naka-align yan. Notes, the date is usually abbreviated such as January, Jan period, February, March, April, ayan. The debit account is on the left side, left ko. This is my left. So cash is on my left. That is the debit. The credit is indented, so my space. Then you have notes payable. Credit on the right side. Likewise, the explanation is indented. Hindi po siya nakatapat sa notes payable. Then siya nakatapat sa cash. And the explanation always starts with the word to record. To record. O to record. Ano yung rine-record mo kasi? So you start with the term to record. And the word after it is a noun. So what are nouns? Name of animals or ano ba? Name of animals, name of dogs or whatever. So, noun, kapag may plural form siya. Or, for example, loan is a noun. Loans, those are nouns. And the amount ends with a double zero. Ibig sabihin, wala tayong centavo amounts. And the entry is classified as a simple journal entry. Why? Because isa lang ang ating debit, isa lang din ang ating credit. What if, on January 5, Siginaya Company purchased a truck, 29,500, paid one half and the balance on account. Prepare the appropriate general or journal entry for the above transaction. So, sana nagigets nyo itong ginagawa natin na rene-record. So, January still, January 1 to 31, 2018. Dapat 2019 yan, mali. Dapat ito 2019, sorry. So, date, ayun, January 5. Kasi this happened on January 5. So, bumili daw tayo ng truck. Ano yung truck? The account title for that, delivery equipment. Kasi meron din tayong office equipment. What if may computer tayo sa table? O ginagamit natin sa office. O the office equipment. What if ginagamit natin yung truck pang deliver? Pwedeng delivery equipment. So, you put the folio from the, kung meron mang chart of accounts sa ginaya, how much is the truck? 29,500. So, debit kasi, tumaas ang ating asset, therefore, debit. Tumaas ng truck. Pero nabawasan din ang ating cash. Cash is an asset. So, credit. Credit mo ang cash, magkano ang binayaran niya na cash? One half. One half of 29,500, that is 14,750. And the balance on account, yun hindi nabayaran, utang daw. So kapag nadagdagan ang utang, increase in liability. Check mo sa account mo, it is credit. Credit to accounts payable, another 14,750. Kung in-total mo yung debit niya, 29,500, total mo ang credit niya, 14,750 plus 14,750, that is 29,500. Then you record an explanation to record purchase of truck in cash and balance on account. Kung bumili tayo ng truck, nagbayad tayo ng cash, at yung natira on account, inutang natin. So, we are simply describing kung ano yung nangyaring transaction. So, in this case, note, kunana, the amounts ends with a dash sign. Ito, dash. And for us, it indicates na walang centavo. Walang 0.25 or walang 50 centavos. And for our classroom purposes, we will use the dash sign instead of the double zero for easier writing. Unless gusto mong sulat-sulat, double zero dito, double zero. Wag na. Lagay tayo ng dash sign so hindi nila pwedeng tuluyan. And the explanation occupied 2 lines and the second line is in line with the credit. Ito yung second line. The second line is in line with the credit. The entry is called a compound journal entry. Why? Because it has 2 credits. So, what if dalawa din ang debit? O, di compound pa rin yun. Compound journal entry. So, we have a comprehensive example for Jed Esther. Yun din naman yung inanalyze natin noong chapter 2. By still the Jed Esther na nag-open ng laundry shop in March 2020. The laundry shop uses the following chart of accounts. So, binigay. Dapat yung example, ibibigay yung chart of accounts. Doon mo makukuha yung account names, the account numbers. So, nakaayos po siya, Alore. Lahat yan assets. Then you have liabilities. Then you would have capital. Then you would have revenues. Then you would have the expenses. Alore. Next, tingnan natin yung mga transaction nila. Without, hindi ko ibababa muna para mag-recite kayo. Jed Esther invested 80,000 to open for business. Anong accounting element ang naapektuhan? We have assets and at the same time capital account. Anong nangyari sa asset? Nadagdagan. If madadagdagan ang asset, is it debit or credit? Debit. Therefore, Nadagdagan, anong account title ang gagamitin natin? Debit to cash. So, nag-debit siya ng cash. Anong account title or account number ni cash? Cash is 100. Tama, 100. So, 100. Magkano yung amount ng cash? 80,000. So, isusulat mo siya sa debit. Debit po. Huwag mong ilagay sa credit kasi nga debit siya. At the same time, tumaas ang ating capital. So, check mo sa accounts. Kapag tumaas ang capital, it is credit. So, may credit tayo, may indention, may space dito. You indent Esther capital. Ang capital account, ano ang reference number niya? Check natin, 300 daw. O, di tama. 300, Esther capital. Then, 80,000. So, dash at the end, dash. And we give explanation to record owner's investment. Or to record investment of the owner. So, may space din po siya with before Esther. After Esther, I mean. Next, business transaction. Nagbayad tayo ng registration fee. So, ayan. So, nagbayad tayo ng registration fee, other requirements, amounting to 2,000. So, kung i-record natin, nadagdagan bang expenses? Yes. Kung nadagdagan ang expense, debit, credit. It is debit. In this case, debit to taxes and licenses. How much is that? 2,000. Itong mga to, again, kopyahin mo po from the chart of accounts. Nagbayad tayo. So, nagbayad tayo ng pera. Kapag nabawasan ang pera or nabawasan ang asset, debit or credit? Credit. Therefore, credit to cash still amount 2,000. So, you give a short explanation to record payment of taxes and licenses. Purchase washing machines, 20,000 in cash. So, in that case, bumili tayo ng equipment. The washing machine is an equipment. Kung nadagdagan ang asset, debit kasi siya. What if, di ba nagbayad tayo ng cash? So, nabawasan din ang ating asset na cash. So, credit to cash. And what are we recording? To record purchase of equipment in cash. So, wag niyong kalimutan yung date niya, yung proper amounts niya. Both supplies, without na hindi ko ibababa. Both supplies, 4,000 and the office furniture, 10,000 on account. So, ito rin lang inanalyze natin pala sa chapter 2. So, ano ang supplies? Asset. Nadagdagan ba ang supplies? Yes. If there is an increase in asset, debit or credit? It is debit. So, on the left-hand side, debit. Now, nadagdagan din ang office furniture. Ano ang office furniture? It is an asset. Kung nadagdagan ang asset, it is also a debit. 10,000. On account, inutang natin. So, nadagdagan ang ating utang. Ano ang increase in liability? Debit or credit? It is credit. So, tingnan mo yung journal entry natin. Ganyan. Debit to supplies and furnitures, 4,000 yung supplies, 10,000 yung furniture, and credit to accounts payable. So, on account siya, on open account, so, credit accounts payable. Magkano yung utang? 4 plus 10, 14. So, what are we recording here? To record purchase of supplies and furniture on account. Kasi hindi tayo nagbayad in cash. Specify mo kung nagbayad ba tayo in cash or on account. Then March 5, rendered services to those from Barangay Guhang and earned 15,000 in cash. So, nagbayad sila. So, anong natanggap natin? The value received. Cash. Cash. Pag tumaas ang income, debit or credit? Check mo sa account. It is credit. So, therefore, credit yung service income. 15,000. Anong rine-record natin? To record income na kinita natin in cash. Kasi pwede tayong kumita na utang. Utang yung kita natin. Next, March 10, paid 1/2 of the account in March 3 and issued a note for the balance. So may utang kasi tayo in March 3 na accounts payable. Accounts payable 14,000. Yan daw, babayaran natin yung kalahati in cash, tapos yung kalahati, mag-i-issue tayo ng note. In that case, nabawasan ang ating accounts payable. So, decrease in accounts payable, debit or credit. It is debit. So, debit to accounts payable, 14,000. Cash, nagbayad kasi tayo ng 7,000. If there is a decrease in asset, it is on the credit. Magkano ang binayaran? 7,000. Notes payable, nadagdagan ang utang ulit natin kasi nag-issue tayo ng note. So in that case, notes payable, credit, increase in liabilities are credit, 7,000. And what are we recording? To record payment. Nagbayad tayo ng account at nag-issue tayo issuance of note for the balance. So we are describing kung ano yung nangyari na transaction. Lapit na. Whew. After March 10, you would have March 15. Nagbayad tayo ng sahod ng mga empleyos, kinsinas. O di, kapag tumaas ang expense, debit or credit? Debit. Kaya debit to salaries expense. Nagbayad tayo, so mababawasan ang ating pera. Kung mababawasan ang ating asset, it is debit or credit? Credit. So, credit to cash. 5,000. What are we recording? We are recording yung payment ng ating salaries. March 23. Rendered services to customers on account from Barangay San Fernando, 13,000. Kumita tayo pero yung customer natin inutang sa atin. So in this case, debit to accounts receivable, hindi siya cash. So nadagdagan ang ating asset, so debit siya, accounts receivable, 13,000. Tumaas ang ating income. Increases in income are credit. Therefore, credit to service income amounting to 13,000. And we are recording income earned on account. Kumita tayo, pero kinita natin on account. Inutang kasi ng customer. Specify natin kung in cash or on account. Next, March 29, receive IFELCO bills. Hindi tayo nagbayad Ang sabi, nakatanggap lang tayo ng bill sa IFELCO. So, kapag tumaas ang expense, increase in expense, it is debit. Dahil na hindi tayo nagbayad, tumaas ang ating utang. Increases in liabilities, credit. Magkano yan? 4,545. To record what? Expense on account. So, may expense tayo, pero utang natin. So, on account. Hindi tayo nagbayad Next, March 30, paid rent for the month, 2,000. Same lang. Same with all payments of expenses. Same sila ng journal entry. Asan yung payment of expense? Sa taas, sa salaries expense. So, debit to the expense account, credit sa kung anong pinambayad natin. Cash. To record payment of rent, 2,000. Next, March 30, Barangay Uhak residents availed of the laundry services giving a promissory note. Promissory note sila. Kumita ba tayo? Yes. Pero nag-promissory note sila. So, meron tayong notes receivable sa kanila. Kapag tumaas ang asset, it is debit. Kumita tayo. Nadagdagan ang ating income. Therefore, credit. And that amounts to 11,000. We are recording income earned on note. Hindi na siya on account kasi on note. Next, March 31, Jed Esther used 10,000 peso of business cash for personal use. So, nadagdagan ang ating drawing. In that case, kapag nadagdagan ang drawing, debit, 10,000. Nag-withdraw tayo. So, ang pera ng business nabawasan. Asset is decreased. The credit to cash, 10,000. What are we recording? To record owner's withdrawal. So, done tayo. Kung tama ka sa analysis mo, matatama din ang journal entries mo. If you have any questions about these things, mag-comment kayo sa video lecture ko. Because I am assuming na ang gagaling nyo, naintindihan nyo, kasi wala namang nagque-question doon sa lecture ko mismo. Unless hindi nyo man lang pinapakinggan yung lecture ko. Hindi nyo dina-download. Download nyo para paulit-ulit nyong pakinggan kapag hindi nyo na-gets. Now, for our classroom purposes, for consistency and uniformity, gagamit tayo ng possible explanations. Sundin natin lahat yung explanations na yan. So, pwedeng, yan o. To record owner's investments. To record owner's investment with attached liability. Kung may utang yung ininvest niya na asset. To record purchase of assets in cash. Bumili tayo ng asset. Nagbayad tayo ng cash o di in cash. Bumili tayo ng, ano yung asset na yun na ilalagay mo? To record purchase of equipment, to record purchase of furniture, to record purchase of supplies. Kung nagbayad tayo in cash, pero may hindi tayo nabayaran, edi and balance on account. What if bumili tayo, nagbayad tayo ng cash, pero nag-issue tayo ng note? O diyan. To record purchase of asset or purchase of equipment in cash and issuance of note for the balance. What if nagbayad tayo ng note? Nagbigay tayo ng notes payable para mawala yung ating accounts payable. So, to record issuance of note in settlement of account. To record payment of account, nagbayad tayo ng utang. O, to record payment of account. Nagbayad tayo ng notes payable to record payment of note. What if yung note may interest? To record payment of note with interest. Nagbayad tayo ng expense. To record payment of expense, you specify anong expense yan. Salaries, rent, utilities. What if nagbayad tayo ng half of the expense at yung balance utang natin? The end balance on account. What if natanggap lang natin yung bill, hindi tayo nagbayad? So, to record expense, anong expense yun? I-specify mo, on account. What if kumita tayo, nagbayad yung customer in cash? To record income earned in cash. What if kumita tayo, pero inutang niya? Di earned on account. To record earned on note, kapag note naman. What if nakolekta natin yung customer's account? To record full collection of customer's account. Kung binayaran niya ng buo. What if hindi niya binayaran ng buo? Di sabihin natin partial collection of customer's account. What if nagbayad siya ng utang pero hindi niya binayaran lahat? Instead, nagbigay siya ng notes receivable. In that case, to record partial collection of customer's account and receipt of note. Tumanggap tayo ng note for the balance ng kanyang utang. What if kinolekta natin yung note? To record full collection of note with interest. Nag-withdraw yung owner. Owner's withdrawal. Ginamit natin yung supplies. To record consumption of supplies or use of supplies. So lahat yan. Those are possible journal explanations, and for us to be consistent and to be uniform, para hindi rin ako mahirapan mag-check, sundin natin yung format. So, ang simula niya, to record palagi. So, that is the journalizing process in the general journal. Madami-dami yan. Pero kailangan nating aralin kasi accounting ito. Hindi siya madali. Pero, kung pagigihan mo, makukuha mo ang idea. So, baka nagtatanong kayo, saan pwedeng magsulat ng journal entry? You could write it on any sheet of paper, pero meron kasi tayong tinatawag na journal book. Wala akong hawak ngayon kasi kaya hindi ko mapapakita. Na andun yung linya-linya ng pwede mong pagsulatan ng amount. Mas madaling magsulat ng amounts. Pero dahil wala naman tayong ganon, edi sulat natin sa paper. So, makukuha mo kung ano ang journal entries natin. Dali lang yan. Dali lang yan. I-perfect mo yung concepts, yung analysis mo kasi. So, for example, andyan yung general journal natin. General journal. Dapat naka-center. Sorry, hindi ato na to naka-center. Dapat naka-center siya. General Journal. Tapos, date. Let's say, ano ngayon? March 3. March 10. O di March 10. March 10. Let's say, nagbayad ako ng utang ko or nagbayad ako sa food ko. O di, let's say, sabihin ko lang na food expense. Ang debit ko, food. Food expense. Nagbayad ako in cash o di credit to cash. So again, may indention. Hindi sila magkakadiretso. May indention po ang credit. So this is my debit expense. Kapag meron kasi tayong expense, increase in expense, that is debit. Nabawasan yung ating asset, credit to cash. Ang binayad ko, let's say 100 pesos. Di 100 dash. 100 dash. To record. Ganyan. To record. Tapos ibababa ko kasi hindi naman pwede. Inline ko siya dito sa cash. To record payment of food. Nagbayad ako. Di ganyan. So, sana masusundan nyo itong pinagagawa natin, journal entries. So, dapat tama ang mga analysis mo para tama ang pinagre-record mo. So, check ko yan later. I-upload ko bukas yung activity nyo on analyzing business transactions. So, dapat makuha nyo siya para makapag-move tayo sa next na step of our accounting cycle. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and God bless.